Welcome to English Story Avenue, a place where stories inspire hearts and change lives. If you love emotional and motivational stories, then subscribe to English Story Avenue for more powerful content. Michael Anderson lived in New York, USA. He worked for a huge technology company. People around him believed he had the perfect life. He owned an expensive apartment, a luxury car, and a high salary. Every morning he wore a sharp suit and walked into akin to a beautiful office building. Everyone respected him because he was one of the top managers in the company. But deep inside, Michael felt empty. His smile looked real outside, but his heart carried silent pain. Every day he attended long meetings and answered hundreds of emails. His phone never stopped ringing, and his mind never found peace. At night he returned home completely exhausted. He would sit alone beside the window and stare at the city lights. One rainy evening he asked himself a question that changed his life forever. What is true happiness? The question stayed inside his mind for days. No matter how busy he became, he could not escape it. Michael had spent years chasing success, but now he started wondering if success alone was enough. One weekend he visited his parents in a small town outside the city. The peaceful environment felt completely different from his stressful corporate life. His mother prepared dinner for him with love and care. That simple meal gave him more comfort than expensive restaurants ever could. After dinner, his father sat beside him quietly. The old man looked at Michael carefully. "You have everything," his father said softly, "but your eyes still look tired." Michael stayed silent for a moment. Then he finally admitted the truth. "I have money," he said, "but I do not feel happy anymore." His father smiled gently. "Real happiness cannot be bought, son." Those words touched Michael deeply. He realized he had ignored the important things in life. The next morning, Michael walked around the small town alone. Children played happily in the streets. Neighbors greeted each other warmly. People looked simple but peaceful. Michael noticed something strange. These people had less money than him, yet they smiled more genuinely. Their hearts looked lighter. That afternoon, Michael entered a small coffee shop. An old man was sitting there, reading a newspaper. The old man smiled and invited him to sit. They started talking about life. Michael shared his stress and frustration. The old man listened carefully. Then he said something unforgettable. Most people search for happiness outside themselves. They search in money, fame, and success. But true happiness begins inside the heart. Michael kept thinking about those words. For the first time in years, he felt calm. When he returned to New York, he decided to change his lifestyle. He stopped allowing work to control his entire life. He started spending more time with family and friends. He also began helping poor students with education. One day he met a young boy selling newspapers near the subway station. The child looked tired but hopeful. Michael asked him about school. The boy explained that his family could not afford books. That moment reminded Michael of his own childhood struggles. Without thinking twice, he bought books and school supplies for the boy. The child's eyes filled with happiness immediately. His smile touched Michael's heart deeply. For the first time in many years, Michael felt a different kind of joy. A pure joy that money alone could never provide. Slowly, Michael understood the real meaning of happiness. It was not hidden inside luxury offices or bank accounts. It existed in kindness, gratitude, and meaningful relationships. It lived inside peaceful moments and caring actions. Months passed, and people around Michael noticed the change in him. He looked calmer, healthier, and happier. One of his coworkers asked him an important question. "What changed your life?" Michael smiled softly before answering. "I stopped chasing happiness outside I learned that true happiness starts within ourselves. When your heart feels peaceful, life becomes beautiful. Years later, Michael still worked hard and remained successful, but now he understood balance. He valued relationships more than status. He valued peace more than pressure. Every rainy evening, he still stood near the window and looked at the city lights, but now his heart felt calm instead of empty. The answer had finally become clear to him. True happiness was never hidden in money or success. It was hidden inside the human heart all along. Final message: money can make life comfortable, but it cannot guarantee peace. Success can impress the world, but kindness heals the soul. Spend time with loved ones. Help people whenever possible. Protect your inner peace and stay grateful every day. Because true happiness comes from the heart. Thank you for listening this story on English Story Avenue. Subscribe to English Story Avenue for more emotional and motivational stories.